Hey, what is up, all my party people out there? So, I have been getting some awesome, like, holy crap, I can't believe how well that worked feedback from my private group and my members about this thing that I call an optimal functioning plan. And the purpose of this optimal functioning plan is to teach you how to end the yo-yo weight loss. So, end your yo-yo dieting, end your yo-yo exercise, end your yo-yo stress relief, all that stuff that we tend to do really well for a long time and not so well for an equally long time after that. And we want to avoid overcoming burnout, stress out, and fatigue. All right. So what I want to really get a point across to you to begin with is that everyone knows that we function in a comfort zone most often. All right, and this is just our day to day where we can stay our whole lives. But every once in a while, we get the feeling like we've let go a little bit in our comfort zone. We've gone too long, and this comfort zone can eat away at us after a long period of time because we can get comfortable. We can gain some weight, and we can get a little bit lazy in our comfort zone. So what we do is we set these big, hairy, audacious goals where we add tons of stuff to our schedule. So that black dot is our goals, right? And we add a bunch of stuff to our habits, to our life, to our schedule every single day. Things like eating clean perfectly all the time, even though you hadn't done it in the past. Things like working out 7 days a week, even though you'd only maybe worked out once a week or none at all before that. Things like meditating 20 minutes a day, which is another thing onto your schedule. You gotta get the point. All the things that you do whenever you want to be healthy, aware, and cognizant of changing your health habits, we tend to overdo them a little bit when we set that big, hairy, audacious goal. And so what do I call? I call this overfunctioning, right? And so when we overfunction, a lot of people can really stay in this zone on average for about a month before they start to feel restricted and get burnt out, stressed out, and fatigued, right? And so what we do whenever we start to feel like we're overfunctioning or we're restricting ourselves is that we tend to shrink. And we go into this underfunctioning zone where we say we got to do things like get back to basics. And I just need to relax for a little bit. I have to have time to breathe, right? And tell me if you've been there, right? And so whenever we're in this underfunctioning zone, we tend to do all those things and pull back and shrink ourselves down, but not after maybe a weekend of eating pizza and ice cream and sitting on the couch and watching 5 movies, right? And so maybe that might be a little bit exaggerating, but maybe it's not. So in this underfunctioning zone, again, we can stay there for about a month until we start to feel burnt out and stressed out, fatigued. Because as Tony Robbins says, if we're not growing, we are dying, right? And so we start to feel like we're dying because we are not reaching our human potential, right? And so what do is we move out into our comfort zone, but eventually, not long after that, it becomes not enough, again, because we are still unsatisfied with where we have been. And typically when we've overfunctioned, we've lost some weight, we've made some good habits, but it was just too much at one time. And when we're underfunctioning, we tend to gain that weight back, and we tend to get back to old habits that aren't as productive. So it kind of sounds a lot like yo-yoing, right? That's because to this point, you haven't had the right combination of knowledge, resources, and environment. Right? So the knowledge to know what works, the resources to help you stay accountable and consistent, and the environment of support to help keep you going no matter what happens, and you have kind of a backup plan. So this is what the yo-yo cycle looks like. It's just this cycle of overfunctioning, lose 20 pounds, underfunctioning, gain 20 pounds, overfunctioning, lose 20 pounds, underfunctioning, gain 20 pounds. And we can do this our whole lives. And there are definitely people out there who've done this their whole life, right? I can't tell you how many times I've heard that I've lost 500 pounds in my life. It's been the same 20 pounds over and over, right? And so what we want to do is we want to put an end to this by simply thinking about this concept of overfunctioning and underfunctioning. And so what we do is with my members, what we do is we sit back and we look at what are the games we can win? What's the one thing that's going to move the needle the most for us over the next week? And let's practice that one thing. And so that bite-sized chunk turns into a simple habit that we can practice daily and make repeatable. And so what we've done at that point is expand the comfort zone. So what we call this is optimal functioning. We pick out one thing, we improve it really well, we look at the things that maybe we could eliminate from our schedule, and we tend to just expand our comfort zone. So you can continue to do this with each and every goal that you set through your nutrition, through your fitness, through your stress management, sleep management, everything, right? So my thing is that I would totally encourage you to adopt an optimal functioning plan. And what an optimal functioning plan looks like is a lot like this, right? Where we break down the things that move the needle in our health in every area. And so what I think your health breaks down to is your exercise, your nutrition, your stress management. And so if you basically just measure the things that you do every day, things like resistance training, maybe 3 times a week, walk the dog, maybe 2 times a week, get 10,000 steps, maybe 6 days a week, right? If you're tracking on your Fitbit or whatever. Get your nutrition, your 4 cups of veggies every day, so 7 days a week, half your body weight in ounces, 5 cheeks. You kind of get the idea, right? And so we talk about things like sleep and awareness of transitions and stretch and breathing. And we can break that down at another time. But basically the key is that you measure these things as many days of the week that you think is achievable for you. And then every week, every day you go back and you cross off what you did that day. And so if your goal was to walk the dog 2 times this week, you have a 1 here and a 2 here, and you would simply cross off the 1 after you've done it 1 day that week. So you go back and you review this optimal functioning plan every day during the week. And then each week, you simply review and see what was too much and what was not enough. And you make those changes to try to then, over time, add in the simple habits that you need and make them sustainable. So you can expand that comfort zone and not get into the yo-yo habit of over-functioning and under-functioning, like I said, right? So with an optimal functioning plan, just to wrap up, we want to avoid this over-functioning and under-functioning zone. We want to expand our comfort zone by simply adopting one simple habit every week to make sure that we are practicing, and also taking a look at what we are doing, what we need to eliminate, and what we need to add.